What's the worst pronunciation you've ever heard of your first or last name?
There's some obvious ones, I guess. I've been called Brandon and Brendan so many times I could barely count. Got called Trenton once or twice. But if we're going for absolute worst, I've got a story. Worst not necessarily in pronunciation, but dread. So without getting into it too much, one of the jobs I previously had, I had some secretarial and receptionist duties that I sort of had to take on. And one of my duties very early in the morning was to go through our answering machine messages. And every now and then for like a month straight, we started getting calls from a very colorful character. I actually don't know how much I can say about this, so I'm not going to name the guy, although he never really gave us his name. He gave us a moniker, and I'm not sure it's kosher to use. And I don't say this to be mean, but he was proper crazy. I don't want to make assumptions, but he was probably a hard drug addict. And for a long, long time, we would start getting calls from him. Rambling, spooky, weird, creepy calls that our machine would say he would call us in like the middle of the night when no one was there. And he would ramble about conspiracies and people eating other people, sacrifices and corruption and just off-the-wall crazy stuff. And very occasionally a sort of thinly veiled threat that he might show up to our place of work. And mostly we didn't believe that. But it was still kind of creepy. Especially since he knew exactly where we worked. But mostly it was just a chore, because sometimes he would leave as many as a dozen messages. And I remember at one point he left one that was almost 30-ish minutes long, which I did not know you could do on an answering machine. I should probably check that, but I'm willing to put my hand on a Bible and say it was like a half an hour call. Mostly it was just tedious, but it was kind of freaky listening to those messages and stuff. Well, it was basically still dark out, and it felt very much sometimes like being in a horror movie. Right before something bad happened. And then something bad did kind of happen. I don't know how this happened. But somehow, this guy went from leaving all of these messages on the office answering machine to leaving them on my personal answering machine. Because somehow, without me having given my number out to anybody for this exact reason, he somehow not only got my number, but my name. Full circle. So, long story short, I started getting very disturbing, very personalized messages sent to my answering machine very, very early in the morning as soon as I got there. Sometimes 10 at a time. All of them starting out with, Mr. Bronson Sides. Sometimes I still hear that voice in my sleep. Scary as that was, it was just kind of annoying. It's clearly an E. Where are you getting an O from? I mean, there's an O in it, but it's the end. And it's not like you're switching the letter. It's just very aggravating. I hope he doesn't know where I live now.